Welcome to the B.R.E.A.K.S Radio.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the B.R.E.A.K.S Radio. It's your host, CEO Haize, in the building this week. We got a surprise for you, but I'm going to save that for a few more seconds. My brother Baylor The Great is in the building. What's going on?
How we doing, man? I'm glad you got over that cold.
Yeah, I was dead. It wasn't just a cold. I was dead last week.
I'm glad you're back. Orange juice.
Vitamin C, people, it does a body good. And then a special surprise that I teased on Twitter. We have a new co-host for the B.R.E.A.K.S Radio. Miss Mary Almonte is in the building. What's going on?
Hi, I'm happy to be here.
That's what's up. So before we start, just because you're a new face voice, tell the people a little bit about yourself and just everything.
Sure. Well, to start, I guess part of why I'm here is that I'm a professional shit talker. I'm from New York, Staten Island to be specific, Wu-Tang.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, and so by day, I've had a bunch of jobs, right? Like I worked at Hot 97 here in New York, WBLS, in the marketing department. But you absorb a lot of things through osmosis. And then I've also worked at BET, and I'm actually a realtor also by day. Not sure if I even shared that with you, but so I've worn many hats and have been exposed to a lot of things, and hopefully I can bring some value here as a result of all that.
Absolutely. So who just so we get the listeners can get a taste for your musical taste. Favorite rap group of all time, favorite solo rapper of all time, and then favorite R&B act of all time. So that can be a group or solo.
It's about to be real.
It is about to be real indeed. I think I gave that away before that my favorite rap group is Wu-Tang. I mean, I'm from Staten Island. It would be like blasphemy if that were not the case. My favorite rapper is Nas. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
And I would say R&B, sheesh. That's hard. That's a really hard one. And I was a huge R&B head. I'm gonna go with Maxwell, which I'm surprising myself by blurting that out, but that was the first one that came to mind. So, yeah.
That's what's up. Well, listeners, hopefully that gave you a peek inside. We'll get deeper in as we get into the podcast. You guys ready to get into the first topic this week?
No doubt.
Let's do it.
All right. So the Something in the Water tour, Pharrell announced it. Him and Missy Elliott, Travis Scott, Migos, who else? Anderson .Paak, Little Uzi Vert. There's Pusha T is gonna appear on this tour as well. This really seems like the music tour of the summer. What do you guys think about it?
I think I want to go.
I would be excited to see what Missy Elliott has up her sleeve. I'm a huge Pusha T fan. SZA, yeah, definitely not a huge fan of Lil Uzi Vert at all. And then I've heard Travis Scott can bring down the building. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, SZA for sure. I'm kind of curious about how he went about selecting these artists, because I would have expected it to be like a very VA centric kind of, lineup. And I mean, Missy obviously makes sense with that. But yeah, some of the rest of them really surprised me. So
I actually thought the same thing. I thought it was going to be VA heavy.
Yeah.
But right now I only see maybe 2 artists from Virginia. I'll still go though. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Janelle Monáe's on here as well. Like this is a star-studded lineup. The one that surprises me the most really is Jaden Smith. Like his name sticks out like a sore thumb on this list, but I've heard that he actually puts on a good live performance.
Why did we have the same reaction?
You know what? Because that's one of those, I've heard he was dope, but I've never heard of him performing.
Yeah.
So I can't really. Okay, I would like to see that as well though. So
I mean, I like him as an actor. I don't know, that Icon Living kind of made me hop off with him. But and I mean the production was dope on it. The beat was sick, but I don't know. He was kind of all over the place. So yeah, I mean, kind of keep an open mind, I guess. But he's not who I'd be going there to see.
Yeah, yeah, definitely at the end of that. Another one on here for me, Anderson .Paak, who I was kind of here or there on his last album. I'm still up on him overall as an artist, but I'd be excited to see how he fits in with like all of these really icons that are headlining the tour. Um, but I've never got to see him. Anyone seen Anderson .Paak live?
No.
No.
No, not live. I did like his last project though. Tenant Windows I could play on repeat.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving off of that, let's get into the next subject. This one is going to be nostalgic for any of my 90s slash early no, probably just 90s, late 90s babies. I don't know if it lasts to the early 2000s, but Fubu and Baby Fat are making a comeback. Like 2018 was like the year of like comebacks for old action rappers, getting old clothing lines coming back. Uh, what do you guys think about Fubu and Baby Fat making a comeback?
I think that, you know what, but because of this generation, this era, once somebody spark it that's popular, then it'll take off again. Um, I, I like it. I'm gonna support it. Which Fubu era did y'all like the most? The beginning or the platinum Fubu?
I'd say the beginning. I feel
Yeah.
like, and I mean, I don't know if we are all disclosing our ages, but but I feel like by the end of Fubu's reign, it had been played out for a while,
Hmm.
and just people, a few stragglers were hanging on. But in the beginning, I remember when it first dropped, it was like everything. Like it was, and LL kind of led the marketing campaign. I mean, that might have been one of the few things like I can identify that sort of made me want to start a career in marketing, if that makes sense. But yeah, like I even remember LL had made like a verse just for the Fubu commercial. Like it was exciting. But then by the end, it was like, all right, please, if you're wearing Fubu now, you're like a scrub, which probably was the term people used at that time too. So,
And
yeah.
he started it off with the Fubu wave cap, and I said, "Yo, I gotta get this."
Hmm.
It didn't have the cape on the back. I said, "Yo, this is different. This is
Yeah.
different. I'm gonna have to do this."
Fun
Um,
fact, in New York, the kids are calling those silkies now. I don't know if that's going around the West Coast or the Midwest, but silkies, not a do-rag. I
Silkies.
used to call that a do-rag, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's weird.
we still call them wave caps.
Okay, well,
It-
vernacular.
it's it's weird Fubu's making a comeback of all because like you said, it fell off hard. Like I think like that first round of like Fat Albert Fubu jerseys, I was like, all right, that's cool. That lasted like 2 months, and then it was like, nah. Um, but yeah, I don't know if how they're gonna relaunch this, but Fubu definitely was. I mean, it was a movement. Like between they were able to drop an album, which was just crazy.
Hmm.
LL Cool J all over the place. Like for a while there, that was the it thing to do. But the fact that it's making a comeback is just I can't see it. Like I just personally can't see it. I think Baby Fat has more of a chance of being making a successful comeback, and that's because I mean women's clothes can change like complete styles, and I feel like there's not as much as a stigma as something falling off as it is with men's clothing. But that's just my personal opinion.
Okay. So first of all, I will start by saying I was like the girl in those memes that was like, this girl was whatever. If in the 90s and 2000s she was rocking these like baby fat jackets and like I had baby fat everything. I was like the poster girl for baby fat. So I'm super excited that baby fat is coming back. So behind that also, I'm really proud of Kimura. I mean, I don't know if her new boo has anything to do with it, but she actually bought it back herself. And when she initially was involved with Baby Fat, that wasn't the case. She wasn't like the owner of it. And then she was, I mean, this is like fun facts because I'm obsessed, but she was asked to like step down because she was like accused of spending company money like improperly or something. Like she gave herself a really high salary. So I think the story of this is dope. Because now she's like coming back and coming for everything. Like she's gonna be the sole owner of it, basically. But I mean, Baby Fat was kind of timeless. I didn't feel like you said, I didn't feel like it fell off as hard as some of these other, epic brands of the time. And I actually feel like Fashion Nova should be scared because if she plays this the right way, she could give them a run for their money, big time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the launch is going to be important too. Like we just saw Zendaya have like a all black model launch of her fashion line. If Kimora really has like a dope launch and a event where it really showcases everything that the line could be, as well as women of all colors and races and shapes and sizes, like you said, Fashion Nova better be on the lookout, because there's a lot of people who are better who are like you and have a lot of nostalgic feelings towards Baby Fat also.
Yeah. And I mean, she's going to make her two daughters like an integral part of the relaunch as well. So that should be exciting and kind of interesting to see. Like, it's going to span generations, right? Like,
Yeah.
her daughters are, I think, 19 and 16. And then she's like nearing 40, if not 40. So that's like, like, probably, like you said, like, you're going to have like the older women who have that nostalgic value there, and then you're going to have a whole fresh crop of baby fatters or whatever we call them. So,
That's
yeah.
what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Baylor, anything to add to that, man?
I'm going to get me a FUBU tracksuit. I don't care what y'all think about me, okay? Shout out to LL. Go get me a Kango hat, rope chain, white beater, and FUBU tracksuit, and I'm out there, man.
It's funny.
As long as you don't wear the FUBU shoes, bro. Like, just please don't wear the FUBU shoes.
No. I'm still West Coast, so it might be some Chucks.
That's what's up.
Yeah, respect that.
So I started us off pretty light. We got to get into it, man, because I feel like if we didn't address it here, especially since we didn't have an episode last week, people would be questioning the Leaving Neverland documentary. If everyone could see our faces right now, because I think we all just collectively got ourselves together for this. I mean, I really don't even know where to start. Everything that's coming out of it. I mean, let's start with this. Do you guys believe everything that was in the documentary, or does it, like, for me personally, I think some of it's true, but there was a lot to call the question for me. Also, for enough for me not to just say it's 100% true. But who wants to take this one first?
Oh man, I almost said the whole ladies first thing. Yeah, I'm gonna use that card.
Wow. Okay, flip it to me. Well, okay. So here's the thing. So I am from a generation that really and truly did grow up. Like MJ was a star by the time I was, a kid, right? Like a megastar. But I will say this. I always thought he was freaking weird. Like I always was like, something isn't right about him. Like he just looks weird. And then he was running around with Macaulay Culkin. Again, think I'm aging myself here, but that was like my first exposure to him sort of, being inappropriate. And I remember vaguely the trials of the trial against him where these two, now dudes, whatever, they were kids, like came to his defense. And I don't know why, like no one was up in arms then. Like if that were today, and I mean, I kind of think, I don't know, I'm all over the place right now, but this kind of begs a question of like this cancel culture that we live in now. Like what really is breeding this? Because back in the day, we would just gloss over so many things that were just in our face, blatantly just weird and inappropriate. And I don't know. I mean, so I wasn't surprised to see, this what unfolded in Leaving Neverland. I actually remember being a kid and thinking the concept of Neverland was weird too. Like, what grown man lives in a place called Neverland? I mean, it's like Peter Pan was strange also. But I don't know. So something about my MJ just didn't sit well with my spirit, even before I was old enough to really process the fact that it wasn't sitting well with my spirit. So I don't know. I mean, listen, I love his music, but dude was a weirdo. I can't say I wasn't there. I'm not the type of person that, comes to these conclusions without seeing it for myself, but it doesn't surprise me that this is what we're hearing now. So I guess, yeah.
For me, MJ is number one. I got MJ over Prince. Don't come for me. Please don't come for me. I know people.
I
I
might
know.
have to come for you.
I know. But yeah, that was my guy. I'm in the same boat with you as far I was there. I watched the special and I thought he was weird as well. My thing is we've we've gotten the documents and the evidence about the FBI having a thorough investigation. They didn't find anything on him. Again, why did it take so long? It's kind of questionable that it came right after R.Kelly, Doc. Um,
Mm.
and so I question a lot of things, but at the same time, I agree. He was kind of something was off. Something was off, but it was okay with us because his music was, it was A1. Now the close we really didn't know the actual person because we didn't know him personally. We never met him. Well, at least I never met him. But when I listened to interviews of people that did meet him, comedians, athletes, and things like that, the way they would talk about him, the personal stories and experiences, um, it kind of, I I'm like, I don't see what's so weird about this guy except for the way he dresses and the way he looks, because the way they described him was a pretty down to earth, had a huge personality, and so on. So when this doc came out, I questioned it because of what they was doing. Again, you mentioned the whole we canceling everybody. Then the R. Kelly thing drops, and I'm like, in a minute, we're not about to have anybody. We can't look. You're gonna have to cancel everybody, and then next is gonna be family members. So, yeah, I don't know. I still have his music in my library. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I always ask that question too. It's like the whole separating the art from the artist thing is more difficult in certain situations. Like with the R. Kelly thing, it was easy for me.
mhm.
Um, Michael Jackson, while the stuff that came out about him is disgusting, I grew up on Michael Jackson. Like I was the kid doing the whole dance routine to my mama when and her friends were over like, baby, do your dance. Like that was me. I was that kid. My daughter loves Michael Jackson, like loves Michael Jackson. It's probably her favorite artist. And I mean, she's only 10 years old. So this just lets you know like how he's able to just his music transcends time.
Hmm.
So that's definitely a difficult conversation. I've been asked like, okay, so if he comes on the radio, what do you do? Luckily, I haven't been in that position because I honestly don't know. Of course, in my mind, mentally, after hearing everything, it's like, yeah, I'll turn that off. But if Billie Jean comes on, I can't promise that I'm going to turn it off. Like, so it's difficult in that situation. Like I said, with the whole separating the art from the artist thing. But as far as the details that come out of this documentary, it's like just sitting back watching it and watching James Safechuck, the guy who had the ring, like hearing how fondly he repeated some of these memories was even more disturbing because he's talking about his time with Michael Jackson and it's still like it's fun. Like, yeah, we'd have sex and like, and just not to victimize him because he's the victim. It's wrong, but just it makes it even more difficult to kind of completely like just attack Michael Jackson, I guess, so to say, because he's still talking fondly of him. Now, the Wade Robinson guy, there's so many holes in his story and his parents' story that's even come out afterwards. His story is a little bit weirder because he's defended Michael Jackson as an adult. He defended him. Then the moment he started having financial issues, all of a sudden this kind of stuff comes out. But the James Safechuck story specifically, I believe that one more. Um, it's just hey, it's just disturbing. But like you guys said, we'll never know for sure. We weren't there. We didn't meet any of these people, but it's just disturbing all the way around.
Can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
So, how long ago was the trial?
The one that they testified in,
Yeah.
I know one was in like 2005. The one before that, I'm not sure exactly.
Okay. And then how far along was the allegations when it
Before
first?
that,
Yeah, but when it first popped up.
I mean, he's been going through allegations since like '86, I think.
Okay. And so you wait until March of 2019 to burn everything that you got from him?
Yeah, you got a
Yeah.
point there.
I mean,
I,
so that's another thing, right? It's like a question, like again, there's some kind of weird shift, I feel anyway, going on with our culture because I mean, there's so many cases, not to jump ahead, but like, yeah, you had mentioned before the whole R. Kelly situation. It's like, I mean, I guess maybe technology, I don't know, and these TV networks are now able to curate people differently. I don't know, but I mean, even with the Bill Cosby situation, I mean, and I'm a woman, but I was like, why would all these freaking women like just come out of the woodworks 20, 30 years in certain cases later, even 40? So, I mean, I agree with your question, but I do feel like there's some sort of shift happening where people now are feeling comfortable to come forward about these strange situations, and for whatever reason they weren't before. And in this case, though, I will say Michael Jackson was not here to defend himself. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, one could argue that, yeah, anyone can come forward and say someone who's no longer with us did something, because who's going to say otherwise? So I I mean, this was a special case, and I do kind of understand why Michael Jackson's estate is suing HBO over this, because it's like, come on, you're really gonna put this out here for what? To just destroy his legacy? Because you're not suing him, you know? So I don't know.
and I'm not gonna
I
lie,
feel that.
it's a level of, if it's a level of hypocrisy coming from me, because it's gonna be extremely hard for me to just delete every song, and I have a lot albums at that. And not only that, I still watch a different world. So when you bring up Bill Cosby, I watch a different world, and I love the Cosby Show.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that, like, and this is deeper than just entertainment. Like, you're talking to someone that didn't really have the father figure image that I wanted, and Bill was that character. Uncle Phil was that character. And music, that's therapeutic to us. So listen to certain MJ tracks. It puts me back in the 90s or in the 80s, and it puts me in a feel good vibe. And to eliminate that from my library, to stop watching classic TV shows, you taking away a part of my development. But if it's true, I have to.
Yeah,
Do you have to? I mean, I don't necessarily. So in Michael Jackson's case, he's dead. Who are you supporting by still streaming his music, or, whatever? Really, it's not him
This is
anymore.
true.
I mean, now the R. Kelly thing's a whole other story, because yeah, you're giving him money to not pay child support and go to other countries asking young girls if they have their shots and want to come back with him. So that I can kind of see the difference. But I feel like with MJ, it's like, I don't know, like his music is so much a part of, like you just said, all of our childhood upbringings. It's, yeah, I don't know. I'm not canceling him personally. If we were going to cancel him, he should have been canceled. I mean,
Yeah.
we
yeah.
all kind of knew all this 20 years ago, at least. So come on. Bill Cosby, I don't know. I'm still struggling with that. I have to be honest with you. Just like you said, it's like I went to Fordham University, and a big part of why is because I saw him rocking Fordham hoodies in
Hmm.
the show.
He
So
stayed rocking them sweaters, man.
yes. So I was like, oh, Bill Cosby. I thought he went to Fordham. I don't know if his character might have. I don't know. In real life, he didn't. But whatever the case was, I made a major life decision partially based on what I saw Bill Cosby wearing. Like, when you think about that, it's wild. So, and I mean, I feel like the show itself still instilled great morals and values. And I mean, I would allow my kids to watch it. They don't really need to know that the real Bill Cosby was doing some wild shit when he stepped off the set. I don't know, but I guess my opinion's not popular in this, so I'm sure people are going to be not feeling me after hearing this. So apologies.
Oh no, you're good. I mean, you got to be truthful to your opinion. I mean, you're not the only one that shares that opinion, so yeah, don't be hesitant for that at all.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be like, wearing like a Bill Cosby t-shirt or, you know what I mean? But watching his work of the past that has lived on up until this point, I don't really think is harmful. He's in jail. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, he is serving his time. He's been prosecuted and found guilty for the crime. So,
Yeah.
all right. So coming back from the first break, we're gonna lighten the mood a little bit. We're not gonna jump right into R.Kelly because we're definitely gonna be discussing a little bit later. But YBN Almighty Jay, who I've never heard a single song of his, got robbed. And the reason why I put this one on here isn't necessarily just for that, because rappers get robbed of their chains all the time. But this one involves Jay Prince, which everyone knows. Typically in hip hop, he's like the hip hop Grim Reaper. Most people don't fuck with Jay Prince. What do you guys think about all that?
Well, first of all, you really laughed when you said got robbed. And that kind of sums it up, which we shouldn't be
Yeah.
laughing. But so the only true confession, the only reason why I know of his music or him is because I have a 16-year-old daughter. So I'm kind of tortured through this. Well, let me not say that, but I'm more aware of the new hip hop because of her. Um, and I feel like this is a classic case of like, those memes that's like my hip hop versus yours.
Mhm.
It's like I feel like our hip hop artists were not getting robbed. They were like doing the robbing. Like, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Why did
yeah,
DMX just pop in my head? I
right?
don't know why.
Exactly. Or I was thinking even ODB. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
mean, they were like still getting money from their music and still out here robbing dudes. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just feel like this is corny.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up my opinions too. What about you, Baylor?
Like, are we still doing this? They're still snatching chains and then asking for it back. Like,
Yeah.
this is not the generation to do that to, because I mean, it's gonna be blasted all over social media. Then you're gonna have the guy that actually took the chain, then a rapper on Instagram Live. They call each other up and say, "Look, let's share the Instagram Live," and then they're gonna be barking at each other, and people are gonna watch it. Jay Prince is gonna hop in it because he still want to be relevant as the quote unquote Grim Reaper of the hip hop area. Actually, it's a cat from New York. I just seen a cat from New York that said he would personally go fly out there if Jay Prince was to pay for it and spit in his face, because he said he's not supporting. He said, where were you at where all these black issues was going on with these police shootings and etc. But now you want to pop up over a chain. I kind of felt him on that. Now I'm not into the threats these days. I'm a family man, unless you're gonna sit up there and do it. But he did say that he would go out there and tell them that nah, I'm not helping nobody get no chain back. If your chain got taken, that was it. He was like, stop popping your head up when it's about these rap beats. Won't you start popping your head up in these social events and stuff that's going on? So yeah, if y'all still out there snatching chains for what? Come on, man. I'm sick of these people.
Yeah. Yeah, let's move on because I really don't have much else to add. I'm gonna actually move something up on the list, just because I think it'll flow a little bit better. Schoolboy Q apparently is dropping the album here. I think it's supposed to drop
Hey,
tonight or tomorrow. He pushed his album back after Mac Miller died. I don't know if any changes have been made to the album. I'm pretty sure it was him and Mac were very close. Schoolboy Q, probably one of my favorite artists right now. I love Kendrick, but I think Schoolboy is probably my favorite off top dog. So I'm really excited about this album. What expectations do you guys have for this album?
I mean, I'm actually curious to see if there is any sort of incorporation about like maybe some kind of collab with Mac from previously,
Yeah.
or I don't know. That's kind of my
Baylor?
like excitement.
I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of being a little stalker earlier because I kept I kept checking, I kept refreshing to see if the album dropped and it didn't. So I went to the Instagram and he had like a little snippet. I said, "Oh man, you gotta stop playing with our souls. This is not fair. It's not often that we get a lot of great music, you know what I'm saying, back to back. Um I guess I'm just gonna see the. I'm not the expectations. I mean, he's always been a solid artist to me. So I just want to see what else he got and see what kind of features he has.
He always uses his features very well. I think Schoolboy's albums are Blank Face was completely different from his I'm losing the name first. From Oxymoron. But I'm excited to see the growth from Schoolboy as an artist. We all know he can rap. We know he has bars. We know he can put words together. All of that. I'm excited to see the growth as, like I said, an artist. So how the complete picture of the album. And we all know the quality of album we can expect from Top Dog. Like it's they pretty much are all consistently good. But I'm really have high hopes for this album. This could be the first great album of 2019.
Mm.
So. All right. Well, what other new music are you guys listening to? I know I got one that may shock some people, but what are you guys listening to?
So I must confess, I feel like in the past, I don't know, 8 months or 9 months, so
Uh-huh.
much music has kind of dropped. It's been hard to keep up with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've still been rocking like Tiana Taylor, and but I have started to check out the Two Chains project, and so far I'm liking it, but haven't gotten through it all yet. So, I mean, it kind of is bringing me back to the old hip hop. So, yeah.
Yeah. I like the Two Chain. Two Chain. It surprised me. I know he was hyping it. He said it was going to be the album of the year. It's not quite that, but there's a lot of growth in that for him. And as a rapper, like he's always been able to put together dope songs. He used his features well on that one too. But I think with the Two Chains album, I just feel like something. It's kind of almost too much of the same from him at this point, in my opinion.
I can see that. I mean, I kind of want to reserve that opinion until I'm all the way done with it. But
Yeah.
so far, I could see that. But I don't know what's wrong with sticking to what works sometimes. I mean,
Right.
True.
yeah.
True. What about you, Baylor, man? What you been listening to?
I've been listening to a plethora of R&B. I listened to the Two Chains album. Have you ever seen that picture of? It's a picture of Drake, and he's like in the back seat, and he just looks like disappointed, like he doesn't want to be there. So that's kind of like how I was. Like I was almost forced to listen to Two Chains because I'm not a Two Chains fan at all. But I gave it a listen. I found about three or four tracks that I like. But mostly it's just been R&B, man. Just a lot of I like Eric Bellinger project, Anne Marie.
Oh,
Um, yeah, just on my R&B tip.
That's what's up. I have honestly this weekend I was listening to Papoose Underrated. Don't ask me how I started listening to it. I think I was literally on Spotify and under like the new music suggestions, I saw a Papoose album. I'm like, all right, let me listen to this. I don't think Papoose has put out a good complete body of work maybe since like 2007. But so I'm listening to it and surprisingly, it's honestly a really good album.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
now
I'm
listen, Papoose has bars. I
yeah,
mean,
oh
I
yeah.
heard he was on Hot 97. I want to say Friday night. And I was hearing a snippet of that project. I mean, and I was impressed, but I can't say surprised because he has bars, but for some reason he has lacked the ability, in my opinion, to kind of cross over commercially. So it's like he's been out for so long, but yet he's still kind of underground. Like I feel so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Papoose struggles from that thing where he can rap his ass off. That's not even a question. But the fact that I don't know if he's ever put together a hit song that gets anyone behind him. Like he has bars
Yes.
for days. He has a song on his new album called Numerical Slaughter, which is a flip on the alphabetical slaughter he did way back when. And it's a from a just a standpoint. If you gave me like the lyrics written down, I'd even think it'd scream to me off the page. Like it's amazing what he was able to do. But I can't say that there's any song from the album that I'd say for someone who's not a Papoose fan that I'll say, hey, go and listen to this, you'll bump this. And
Yeah.
that's always been his problem.
Yeah. I can see that, which
But
sucks because he's dope. But
Papoose always he just always seems like he's rapping at me. You know what I mean? Like he's yelling at me. And to me, again, I like Papoose. I like when he first came out. but it's just like it's like he was a max player on a terrible team, and he just couldn't lead them to the championship. Um, Maybe
So
it
he's
was
the
the
Carmelo
production.
Anthony of rap, is what you're saying.
Oh man, that's a cold. That's a. I might have to give him that one. Jeez, you foul for that one.
Hey, I just call it like I see it, man.
Mello. I mean, but Mello is still Hall of Fame ish.
True.
Mm. Whereas you think Pap is not.
No, I. Oh boy,
This
that
begs the
hurts.
question, right? It's like I feel like again, back when hip hop, I wouldn't even say when it first started, but 90s hip hop at least. I think the foundation was like lyrics, right? Like you
Hmm.
have to be a dope lyricist, otherwise you are not even in the game. And
True.
now that's not the case. So for people like Pap, who he's a dope lyricist, it sucks because they're just they they're dope lyricists and that's it. Like they don't have what it takes to really have success as an artist on a grander scale. So
That's true. That's true. You had to have bars, but at the same time, I had to have it. You had to have that beat behind it. That and it wouldn't. It didn't have to be one of those beats that made you dance or anything like that. Because to me, Nas has one of the best songs in music history, not just hip hop, but in music history, and that's it ain't hard to tell. That track right there, like I'll play that at my funeral. That's one of my favorite songs of all time. When you have a track like that, I need that from Papoose. Papoose don't have a track like that.
true.
You know, like Ice Cube, today was a good day.
Mm-hmm.
Pac, Ambition as a Rider, Big.
Hail Mary.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you gotta
I like
have
that
one of those
actually.
track. Papoose just doesn't have that.
But is that his fault or is that his production? Like,
I mean, you're in control of your project.
true, true. Mm,
Well, sometimes he's like,
Papoose has that personality, like
yeah. I don't see him like not being in control of his project. Yeah. At this point in his career, especially.
yeah. Well, at this point, yeah, he
Yeah.
definitely has control. Because yeah, so I mean, we'll see. I like check it out though. Anyone who's listening, man, check out Papoose Underrated. Let me know what you think if you think I'm tripping, because I think it's a dope project overall. But I knew what to expect coming into the Papoose project, so I was expecting to just hear some dope lyricism, and that's exactly what I got. Um, So yeah, I mean that's it. That's what we've been listening to. The next one, so with all the streaming music and everything we talked about now has been about streaming. Like I found the Papoose album just scrolling on Spotify. De La Soul, all their music is coming to streaming services, but they're only going to get 10% of the profits. That is an issue. So as we're going more towards streaming, the older artists seem to be getting left behind. And as we know, a lot of those artists don't even own their own music. So that's definitely going to be an issue going forward. Baylor, I'm gonna come to you first on this one, man. What do you think about a deal like this, and what does that mean for our older artists who new people could discover them on streaming platforms, but it sucks that they
no,
won't get.
that's disrespectful. I'm sorry. That's that. Come on, man. To the point where I hope everybody realize that. But you know what? You're dealing with when you talk about the streaming. This is the era of the young generation. This is all they do. But people that grew up in the 90s, the 80s and things like that, we cherish albums like that. We'll go out there and buy the physical copy. You know what I mean? So we'll buy the physical copy and then stream it. And that's the respect that we give to those artists. So for them to only receive, what was it, 10%?
Yeah, 10%.
That's disrespectful. So I'm on board with them. You know, basically promoting the boycott and going to get the two albums. I think there's two albums that wasn't released under Tommy Boy Records that they're telling people to go out and buy and stream.
My turn.
Yeah.
um, whose idea was this? I mean, why? I'm just so confused. Like, that's just bullshit. I don't know. Was this like a bad deal that from back in the day and it's just now transferring over to streams. Like I'm really confused about how this even happened to them.
Yeah, how does that happen to where? I mean, yeah, like where was this in the contract, and what
Right.
contract was it?
Streaming didn't exist back in 1990, whatever. So clearly that could have been covered, right? Like, I
I
don't know.
mean, unless shit, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
nowadays. Now, I mean, that's what they say. You're supposed to go after. Supposed to hire them lawyers that read through those contracts, and unless it was something in there where I guess they didn't believe that it would ever get to the point where we would start streaming music, and signed off on it. That's the only thing I could think of. But I don't.
Yeah. I feel like I'd be lawyering up if I was them because, 10%, that's crazy. So, yeah.
Yeah, that just doesn't make any sense to me, man. And I know a lot of those older deals probably didn't have any language in there for streaming because it just didn't exist back then. But that has to get corrected, man. It has to get corrected because that's a travesty.
10%. That's what you're supposed to give to your manager.
Exactly.
But all right, so we're gonna get into our second break. When we come back, we got a few more topics to discuss. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this next set of topics. We'll be right back after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're back. This next one, listen, I know all the ladies were going crazy about this, but I just want to talk about it from the standpoint that I think it's perfect casting. Dave East playing Method Man in the Wu-Tang series. I literally couldn't. Once that was announced, I was like, yeah, that's perfect. I could. There's no one better to play
That pissed me off to no avail.
him.
Let's
First
hear
of
it.
all, Method Man can still play Method Man. I mean,
Hello.
he hasn't aged much, and I don't know. I will say, and again, I'm from Staten Island, so I'm biased. But Staten Island dude swag is like hard to replicate. Very different from Harlem or wherever Dave East is from. Like, no, I don't see it happening. I mean, I hope he pleasantly surprises me, but I cannot see him being a convincing Method Man.
But what if he surprises you though and does a great
Then
job?
I will tip my hat to him. But right now, I'm not a believer. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they could have done better because I don't think anyone can really be meth. Like
Mm.
his swag is just so, I don't know. Like it's so unique and just I can't. But I just feel like he still could have played himself. Like, I mean, I just don't know why they wouldn't have gotten him and been authentic about it. So, yeah. And he has sons, by the way. So, he could have
Wow.
tapped into one of them like Ice Cube status.
There you
Right.
go. That makes sense.
This,
That makes sense. And I mean, granted, we don't know if Davies even has any acting chops for real. So I completely understand it. Go ahead, Bailey.
you know what? After talking to a few people from New York, they are on the same page. They like, yo, Method Man could have played himself. Um, but this kind of reminds me of Straight Outta Compton, where Nipsey turned down the Snoop Dogg role or whatever. Now he turned it down for different reasons, but um, I don't. I think you might have to get at least they stayed with inside. You know, well, it wasn't inside the same city, but at least it was inside the same state. You know, at least they didn't get somebody that was from Seattle. You know, I got to give him a chance. I'm a Dave East fan too.
I'm a
So
Davies fan also, by the way. But I just don't see him morphing into meth. I just don't. But let's see.
Well, there you go. I mean, hey, I Method Man playing Method Man does. Had never thought about it. That is a great point because I don't think he's aged in the last at least 12 years.
right, I need to know what they smoking. Let me ask a
Right?
question though.
Woo
Let me ask you
blunts.
a question. What are you more upset about? The fact that Dave East is playing Method Man or Method Man not being in How High too?
Ooh. Ooh.
Method
That's
Man
a
not
hard one.
being in Ha Ha 2 is just disrespectful. They
Yes.
shouldn't even consider doing the movie unless they could be in it.
Yeah. There's no how
I
high
gotta.
without meth and red.
but at the same time, this is a biopic though.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. It's a hard call. I think it's both whack. So yeah. But How High too, that's canceled. I'm
Oh yeah,
canceling
I've
that.
not
I will
seen
not
it.
support that. No.
Yeah, anything that we got to cancel is definitely that. So we definitely got to
Right.
boycott that until they do the till they. I mean, at least have a goddamn cameo.
Right? Like what was that? Like they just played them. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, the next one. So Rick Ross is writing a memoir, and this one is, I don't know how controversial this is, like if it's actual controversy, but he said he plans on addressing his history as a correctional officer, and I'm sure there's going to be more in that book. What do we think about Rick Ross basically writing a tell-all about his life?
I'm here for it. Like, where's the popcorn? I mean, for real. First of all, see, so I have a few friends that, have been COs in past lives, and the most scandalous stuff goes on in those jails between COs and inmates, COs and each other. Like, this is better than Love and Hip Hop. I feel like this is going to be juicy. So, yeah, put it out there, Rick Ross.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rick Ross. I applied for a deputy position one time, so I know the training that you got to do. So at one point, he had to be in great shape. So shout out, shout out to him for that because, geez. But you know what? I guess it's cool. You know, he's been in the game long enough. I just hope it's not to clear up anything because I know that it was used against him when him and 50 was going back and forth, and it kind of raised a couple of eyebrows. But it died over. It died pretty quick. So you don't need to clean up anything. You really don't. But I mean, if it's something to add to his story, to read it than to watch it on a biopic because we know how Hollywood does, and he might end up, being some superhero crime drug lord. And I don't want that.
Yeah, and Dave East might be playing him. So,
They pull that off.
Wow, damn.
I
Now
don't
I'm
know.
calling right now. If a Rick Ross biopic gets made, Sean Kingston should play him. Just throw a bunch of tattoos on
That's actually a good one.
ladies and gentlemen, we're back. So, before we get into R. Kelly, 21 Savage, we all know the story. Detained by ICE, gets out. Before he was detained by ICE, he started being more activist. He started talking about things going down at the border wall. Now he's starting a financial literacy program. What do you guys think about 21 Savage and just overall where his career is going? Not just this program, but just everything. It really seems I have my issues with his music, but almost everything outside of the music, you can tell that this young man's growing. What do you guys think about 21 Savage?
I think that you just hit the nail on the head with the word, growth, basically. I mean, even his music, I feel like a lot, just that track in and of itself is very different than, um, his bodies of work that have come before. I mean, the collab with J. Cole also to me is kind of like showing he's trying to align with people of a higher vibration, so to speak. And yeah, I'm all for, I mean, even his response to his being picked up by ICE was really thoughtful, and he was really careful not to like rile people up, and he was like, the system just needs to be improved upon. Like, it was really, I mean, I was waiting for the British accent, but it was really like he was really careful about the message that he was putting out there. So that to me showed that he's actually becoming aware of his social responsibility as a role model, and he's starting to take that seriously. So I feel like this whole financial literacy thing is right in alignment with that and is great. And I mean, not to, get all personal, but as a realtor, I happen to see a lot of, people in like our communities that are just completely oblivious to, financial literacy and the path to home ownership and how that really puts you in a different bracket in society. and in your own life personally. So I'm just like totally here for this new woke 21 Savage.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up, baby.
You know, the one thing I like about it is that he has a lot of influence on the younger crowd, and the thing is, I for some reason, and I be tripping off of conspiracies. Don't judge me. Um, but I feel like he was an industry plant that turned his back on the industry. You know, like
Mm.
he got in the game doing what the industry wanted him to do. But eventually, he had a plan this whole time. Um, I still don't listen to his music, but I like it. I like it. I think it's something positive other than my son trying to listen to Blueface. So
God.
I know, but no, I think it's refreshing, man, because especially in this generation, they need to see someone that they look up to create this type of positive, you know. So shout out to 21, 21, 21.
Cool. Cool. Well, let's end it, man. R. Kelly, Gayle King interview. Not only that, so he got locked up again for child support. Another woman bailed him out. This Can we just please get R. Kelly the fuck up out of here? Like, that's all I gotta say. Like, I really like can we please just get him the fuck up out of here? Like, every time the guy talks, my skin crawls, because what he's trying to do, he's trying to use those psychological games he uses on those young women on the world now. That's all I watched and saw in this Gayle King interview. He was really trying to play the victim. He was trying to play mind games. Then they had the two women get up and interview as well, and that just drilled everything home and what he's doing to these people. R. Kelly's a sick fuck, and he needs to get the hell up out of here.
And that's all, folks.
Right? I'm like, agreed. I mean, one thing I do want to say is, who is his publicist? First of all, that dude looks like a pimp himself. I don't think that was the best look for R. Kelly. Like, at least he, and I don't know if this sounds discriminant, but he might have been better off getting a female publicist, at least, if you do, but maybe women don't want to touch him. I don't know. But it's like you're dealing with this sensitive topic. And then you have, like, I just don't understand. I don't understand how any publicist who is worth their salt would recommend that R. Kelly talk to anyone about it. Honestly, he should be somewhere under a rock, hoping that people forget about him, not coming on national television with the two women who he's involved with that are part of the harem or whatever it is that he's running there, and then trying to normalize it, because that's what I saw. It was like, I felt especially bad for the two girls because I believe them. I think they really think that this lifestyle is normal, and their family is a bunch of haters and they want, R. Kelly's money, and they both are deeply in love with him and think it's okay that they both are in love with him. Like, it was just the mother in me wanted to yank them off the stage. It was like, girl, like, this is not all right. And then you're crying and like really like sacrificing yourself for his defense. Like, I don't know. It's the whole thing was just, I'm still confused about it. And I just feel like I don't understand what publicist would think that was a good idea and advise him to do that. Aside from him being a sick fuck and all the things you just said. But
Yeah.
it's like, who thought this was a good next move for him? Like, if anything, it just made him look even more crazy. It made everyone feel even worse for those girls. And, it made it very obvious that this is all really dysfunctional and not cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time with R. Kelly. I really feel like, but people, everyone who's supporting him and paying his bail and everything. Like, I don't know if you guys saw when I posted on Twitter, but they're officially now called the P Hive. That's what we're calling them. But
All you
yeah,
could do is just laugh. All you can do is just laugh now, because at the same time it's painful. It hurts. It's stupid.
yeah. Oh,
Like,
God.
it's so much, man. Like, not on just put it to the side. Like, he actually let us down too. You know what I mean? Because we did listen to his music. Believe me, it wasn't difficult for me to delete the 3 songs that I've had, but um, we listened to his music. He was a great artist, but it was just everything. You have to throw everybody away from him to the parents. I can't blame the victims at all, but the parents definitely, because I have daughters, I have kids, and I'm not throwing no rocks at no window. And you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a little bit more damage than that. But at the same time, um, everything is just bad. This is what separates R. Kelly's case from MJ's, is that uh, let's not forget there's another tape. If I'm not mistaken, there were 2 more tapes that came out.
Yeah.
One
But
or two more
that's another
tapes.
confusing thing too, right? Like, who just is finding VHS tapes in their house and then is like coming forth with them now? Like, this is really strange. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure it was him. I would bet, even though I haven't seen them. But I just feel like it's very odd that, much to your point earlier, everyone is now coming forward with everything that's happened in like the past 2 decades.
Hmm.
I don't know. That one was. I don't doubt that there will be people coming forward as part of a money grab, coming on the coattails of the real crime. So now it's going to become what's real and what isn't, I think.
Yeah, and that's the sad part, because if somebody come, I'm telling you right now, I'm telling y'all too right now, if somebody come for Stevie Wonder, I'm kicking shit
I'm
over.
done. See,
I'm
you said
kicking shit over.
MJ's your number one. Stevie Wonder is my. I think Stevie Wonder is the most talented artist of all time with what he was able to do. Not being able to see, like, the guy's written, composed me. Like, explain to me how you do all that blind. But
Hey, you see what I'm
if something
saying?
comes out about Stevie Wonder, I'm done. Like, I'm gonna have to take a week off to really process what's going on, because yeah, that's not even mentioning it. You see, I'm getting emotional now just thinking about it. All you did was mention it.
Yeah, hey, when it comes to MJ and Stevie Wonder, it's 1A, 1B. Just depend on how warm it is outside, who would take the lead. But man, I don't. This is sad, man. This is sad. I want it to be over with, because it is a market for this type of entertainment. So until he's just put away in jail, they're gonna drag it along. It's probably gonna be a couple more interviews or something like that, and then we'll get a couple more videos and memes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's it. That's been this week's episode of the Breaks Radio, everyone. Uh, Ladies first. Mary, tell the listeners where they can find you.
Well, pretty simple. It's Miss Mary Almonte, kind of across all platforms. MissMaryAlmonte. So that's me.
There you go, Baylor.
At Baylor the Great, Twitter and IG. I don't really post on Facebook like that, but I want to say I'm excited, and it's refreshing that we have a woman, and she's a Wu Tang fan. It'll be interesting to see what her top 5 is, because it's going to dictate like how our friendship is going to go. You know what I
Really?
mean?
So I'm
You
going to
know,
be
I
judged.
yeah. Because when you see where I rank Wu Tang at the all time, group, yeah. I mean,
Well,
we're
so what I need to know, and that will determine our friendship, is who is your favorite member of the Wu?
oh, is meth by a landslide.
Really?
Like it's a distant second between him and Raekwon.
Okay. I respect it.
Yeah, mine is definitely Raekwon is number one, and Meth. No, Riz is number two, Meth number three.
Okay. Am I supposed to share?
Yeah, now you have to.
So I'm about to blow everyone's mind, but my favorite is Ghost.
Oh, that's
Oh yeah, yeah,
that
okay.
makes sense. I can understand that.
Yeah, Ghost, Math, RZA, and Raekwon, and everybody else after that. Kind of like choose among them. But yeah, Ghost is just I loved his grimy Staten Island style, like, and also a lot of people, obviously, if you're not from Staten Island, wouldn't really know this, but most of the Woo was from Park Hill, right? They always shout that out. But Ghost was from Stapleton, and that's where I grew up. So I have a little sentimental reason there too. Yeah.
And nobody's taking his chains, and
Nah,
nobody's taking that big ass
Oh
eagle
no.
on his wrist either.
definitely not. Definitely not. They would be picking their jaw up off the floor, and
Hey,
I've seen that live. So,
when you talk about swag, he definitely top five. Definitely
yep.
top five.
Yeah, nobody could duplicate. So now it's like, who are they gonna get to play him in this biopic? Because I don't know. We thought Meth was unimitatable, but I think Ghost is up there with him.
You got to go get one of them Euro actors. Because they real good. But no, his swag is like he makes me want to go put on a robe for no reason.
And call yourself Tony Starks. You want to be on?
Man, come on, man, criminology.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm a girl, and he makes me want to put on a robe with some Timberlands and slap somebody.
Shout out to Joe Buttons.
All right,
but not right.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. You can follow the podcast at The Breaks Radio on Twitter. And yeah, follow the network too at The Breaks Media. That's been it. This is another episode of the best hip hop podcast you'll find around. We're out. Peace.
I mean, it's not like I didn't say anything that wasn't true.
This has been a presentation of the B.R.E.A.K.S Media.